Righto guys, real quick video on how to move a wall light. Now for the purpose of this video, I'll be moving this wall light over into this area here. Want to keep it because it seems to add a bit of character to the house. First thing you want to do is measure it out to exactly where you want it. For me, I'm going about 375 off the corner of this TV cabinet, and that TV's getting mounted up there. So I've smashed a wee marker up there, guys. Sweet. So once you've mapped out where you want it, you might want to throw a drop sheet down, but I don't have time to do that right now. So I'm going to rip this one off the wall. So before you rip the light off the wall, you want to make sure the circuit's dead. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to suggest you turn the mains off at the board. Sweet. Right, she's off the wall. So as you can see, there'll be a bit of plastering and painting that needs to happen behind it. Now just disconnect these cables. So a quick way to label them is just cut them off on the color coded side of the cables, just so later on you know what color's going on. Throw that fitting down. So what I've done is I've ripped this plaster out because the bloody paint is plastered and painted over it. Wicked. Right, so I got rid of that plaster and crap off the cable. As you can see in there, hang on. So as you can see in there, there's fixing right here, and then above it is a cavity. So what I'll be doing is throwing a cable between the cavity here and bringing it across to just above the point here. So I've got to run a cable through the wall there. Right, sweet. So what I'm going to do, knock on the wall, find out where that stud is. If I go slightly above it, I want to go about there. There you go, cavity in there. Cut a wee square out of the wall here. So I've cut a very small square that I know is going to be covered by the fitting itself, just so I can get a finger in there and check the area. And yep, so there's a dwang running across here and a stud straight up the side here. So with a bit of luck, this will be cavity. Potentially there'll be another stud somewhere in here, even somewhere there. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But the next thing I'm going to do is get the fitting, line it up the centre, and just draw a couple of lines so I know exactly where it's going to sit and how big I can cut a hole behind it. Sweet, so I've done some wee lines here. Now these are just approximate lines. I don't want to come within probably 20 mil of those. This gives me an indication of how big I can cut the hole should I need to, if shit hits the fan in the wall here. Next step, grab some cable, poke it in the hole, see how far you can get it along the wall. Right, so we've got a shit hitter here. Where my finger is on the cable at the moment is how far I can get it through the wall when it hits the next stud. Just so you guys are aware, the only reason I haven't gone and pulled the cable back up into the roof space, drilled a hole down through the top plate there and dropped either that length or a cable to join on straight down and straight out, is because this house here is two-storied, so there is no way I can get above this wall here. So unfortunately I have to go through between these 2 points here. It's the only way. So we've got a stud right about here. Hear the difference? Doesn't sound hollow. So what I'm going to do is cut this hole a wee bit bigger. I'm going to go and get my drill bit, because I'm a sparky. I've got some long drill bits. You guys probably won't. What you might need to do is cut a small incision in the wall here and then drill through it, or go and buy a long drill bit from an electrical wholesaler. They've all got them. Don't know how much they are off the top of my head anyway. So I've cut that a wee bit bigger, as you can probably tell. I'll be back with a drill bit. Sweet, so this is the drill bit I'm talking about. It's about 1 metre long. In fact, might be easier cutting this one a wee bit bigger and then drilling from this side that way. We'll give it a go, just because we've got the corner of the bloody room there, and I'm going to have to most likely plaster this up anyway. I am going to put a TV bracket on the wall here and a box behind it, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a video coming out next week. And that's this TV here. So I've cut the slot out a bit longer so I can get a better angle in on there, and at the same time I've removed these yuck wall plugs from here. I just make it easier later on when I go to patch it. So unfortunately I've had to cut this hole a wee bit bigger. I've got some angle bracing and shit in the wall. Not the ideal outcome. And so with the bit of angle bracing in there, it kicks the drill bit back and wants to take out the wall on the jib on the other side of the wall. So a bit of persistence and cutting this hole a wee bit larger. I've managed to get through now. Yeah, unfortunately it's unavoidable. Otherwise I would have had cut another hole there beside the stud and just drill through it. Alright, next thing, slam the bit of cable back through so we can do a join there. So just before I move on, a couple of tips about joining is never join a smaller cable onto the cable that's already feeding the circuit. If you're doing a permanent join, always join the same size cable to the same size cable. Now, if you're doing a permanent join, use the right tools, do it properly. I will be putting a video out on it soon. I see too many people doing dodgy stuff in the wall and then plastering over it. If you're doing just a quick join with connectors, which isn't a permanent join, then the wall must be accessible. So if something did happen and one of the connectors failed, we can then change it. So yeah, for this one I'll be doing a permanent join here. I'm just going to get it done, and as I say, I'll be bringing out a new video on that at some point in the future. Sweet guys, so I've done my permanent join here on the cable, so I can shove that in the wall, and now I can just plaster over that and never have to worry about that cable again. Now this one here, I've stripped the ends off and twisted the copper up. That's ready to go straight into the connectors on the back of this. So as you do each one, make sure it clamps down on the copper as you do the screw in, and do the pull test. Make sure it's not going to fall out of any of the connectors. Sweet. So now what I'm going to do is turn that up the right way and mark out where I want my screws on the wall. What I've done here is I've lined it up with the cross on this, and marked the center point here, and then I've gone to center and marked the bottom. So this line here will line up with the bottom center of the fitting itself. So unfortunately in making these videos I have lost my small level, so I'll be using the bubble level on this square. Right, sweet, so that's exactly where I want it, that's level. So what I'll do is I'll throw a pencil down each one of these screw holes and mark it out where I want to put my fix ends. Sweet, so I got my marks on the wall here and there. So what I'll do is I'll get a tiny screwdriver, wee terminal driver, poke it into the holes and just see if they're into any fixing or not. So that one's not. This one, that one's not either. So what I'll do is I'll put a couple of wall plugs in these, and because there's a brass fitting here, I'll use the original screws it came with and screw those into the wall here. I'll just be using wall plugs like these ones here, and to throw those in, I'll get a bigger screwdriver, shove it in the hole, and just keep twisting it round to make it slightly bigger every turn until I get the insulation on it through that hole, and I'll do the same to the next one. Sweet, that's done. So what I'll now do is I'll line these wall plugs up and have them ready to screw in. Now the best way to screw these in is with a Phillips or Posi driver. Small flathead like this gets it halfway in and then buggers up the threads inside these. Sweet, so I got my left handy screwdriver here and we'll just screw them into the wall. Now if you do find you bugger the threads up on them, just get a really big flat head, shove it into it and screw it in. And then we'll throw some screws through this and hang it up. So once you screwed it up, make sure it's level and crank it up slightly. Sweet as. The other thing with those type of wall plugs to watch out for is, well, you can just see tiny bit of plastic lip sticking out there. They do have lips on them. From this far away you can't see it, so safe there. Yeah, just be aware of that because sometimes these fixing holes are too close to the edge that you can't hide them. Next part is make sure you clean up. See, I didn't use a drop sheet, so it makes a bit of a mess, but nothing this vacuum can't clean. Sweet, so she's all tidy now. This cabinet can go back. The other thing is that you didn't see me do was I put the vacuum cleaner up in here and just got all the jib dust out. So in the meantime, before I patch it, there'll be no dust falling out on the TV and cabinet and shit. So next thing you want to do is obviously flick them on, give them a test. Renzi, can you fire them on? Sweet as. They work bloody good. So yeah, the plan is to get this TV up on the wall in the centre there, and it'll look pretty bloody nice. So yeah, that'll be the next video. So I'll catch you guys later.